Welcome back to this explainer produced by Forge College. Today we're jumping right into our capstone module, safety guardrails and human-in-the-loop controls. This is an absolutely crucial step for building an AI agent on Solana. Look, if you've been following along, you know we've been piecing together a truly powerful autonomous system. We've built a genius, high-speed digital brain, but now we need to make sure that genius brain doesn't do anything spectacularly foolish with our money. So we're going to look closely at how to put the right safety nets in place so our agent can trade effectively without accidentally bankrupting us. In our previous lesson on trade execution and wallet management, we took a massive leap. We literally handed our AI a wallet. We wired up the Jupyter routing for swap construction, and we gave it the ability to sign its own transactions. But let's be entirely honest with ourselves for a second. Giving an unsupervised, highly enthusiastic AI bot real money is basically like handing a toddler a credit card in a candy store. Sure, they know how to tap to pay, but do you really want them buying 3,000 lollipops just because the price dipped a fraction of a cent? Probably not. Crypto markets move at the speed of light, and the thing about an AI is, it doesn't feel panic. It doesn't get nervous when a token drops 30% in a single second. It just executes code. So we need some serious adult supervision before this agent goes live. Okay, here's our addenda for today. We're covering unsupervised agents are dangerous, pre-execution validation, human-in-the-loop controls, rollbacks and safe fails, and finally, monitoring your agent's behavior. Let's dive in. Section 1. Unsupervised agents are dangerous. Why our AI needs a babysitter. Let's start by identifying the specific threats our agent faces in a live blockchain environment. This risk matrix brilliantly illustrates exactly what failure modes we need to watch out for. Think of this as your ultimate troubleshooting guide. First up, data freshness. We check the age of our Pyth price feeds. If the data is old, the AI is literally living and trading in the past, which is a really quick way to lose money. So if it's stale, we block the action and request approval. Then we have slippage. That's the difference between the price you thought you were getting and the price you actually get. If that gap is too wide, we require manual approval. Next is signer readiness. Is the wallet actually unlocked, and are the network fees okay? If not, we delay the execution and notify. And finally, rate limiting. We monitor actions per minute to prevent the agent from infinitely spamming the network, and we mitigate that with throttling. Moving right along to Section 2, pre-execution validation. The bouncer at the door. So this is our first tier of defense, sitting right between our AI's decision logic and the actual execution layer. Notice how this guarded middleware flow acts as a strict sequence before any trade is executed? Our AI might decide it wants to buy a token, but it has to get past the bouncer first. Step 1 is validating the action and calculating a risk score. Step 2, if that score is flagged as too high, it gets sent to the human approval gate. Only if it clears those hurdles do we reach Step 3, which is executing the swap or triggering a rollback if something goes wrong. But how does the bouncer actually make its decisions? Well, imagine the bouncer as a rigid, math-obsessed robot inspecting the payload and assigning points for every single infraction. First, it fetches the latest Python adapter price. If the data age is greater than 5 seconds, it flags it as a stale price feed. Now, 5 seconds might not seem like much to you or me, but in DeFi, markets move faster than a sneeze. It also computes expected slippage. Anything over a 0.005 threshold gets flagged as high slippage. These flags add points to a risk score from 0 to 100. Think of this score like a video game health bar in reverse. If it skyrockets past 50, boom, game over for the trade. The action is immediately blocked and flagged as requiring approval. It's simple, deterministic, and highly explainable. Which brings us to Section 3, human-in-the-loop controls, the boss's approval. This is our second tier of defense, the manager that the bouncer calls over when things look a little too risky. Human-in-the-loop, or HITL for short, is technically defined as a workflow where a human intercepts high-risk automated actions to review a concise payload and explicitly approves or rejects it before execution. Practically speaking, it's the big red Ask the Boss button. The human operator gets a super concise, easily readable payload showing the exact reasons the risk score was triggered. Why concise? Because a human manager doesn't have time to read thousands of lines of code. They just need to know if the price is old or if the slippage is crazy. Then, the human gets the final, immutable vote on whether to approve or reject the action. Now imagine building this capstone project and having to manually type yes on your keyboard 500 times an hour during testing. Yeah, no thanks, your fingers would literally fall off. To test our setup efficiently, we use these CLI flags as a developer's ultimate time-saving cheat code. Setting auto-approve to 0 simulates a strict manual denial. It records a rejection and safely prevents the transaction. Setting it to 1 simulates automatic operator approval, allowing the flow to completely bypass the human and proceed to the execution phase. This is amazing because it lets you rapidly simulate these environments and test your guardrails without losing your sanity. Section 4. Rollbacks and safe fails. The emergency undo button. Because let's face it, even if the data is fresh, the slippage is totally fine, and the boss approved it, network environments can still break mid-flight. Safe fail states or rollbacks are automatic behaviors triggered when execution fails, which record the incident, emit metrics, and perform idempotent compensation actions to return the system to a known safe state. I know that's a mouthful, but it's basically our emergency undo button. Let's look at that intimidating phrase, idempotent compensation actions. Just imagine you're trying to buy a soda from a vending machine, but the power flickers right as you push the button. An idempotent undo system ensures the machine just gives you your coin back. And even if you smash that undo button 10 more times in a total panic, it won't accidentally spit out 10 more coins or double charge you. It just safely resets reality back to square one so you can try again when conditions improve. And that brings us to Section 5, monitoring your agent's behavior, the debug report. We've built the bouncer, we've hired the manager, and we've installed the emergency undo button. Now we actually have to prove it all works. Your final capstone deliverable for this section is generating a debug report that documents exactly how your simulated tests successfully caught dangerous scenarios. To pass this checkpoint, your report needs to clearly show 3 identified failure modes, like data freshness, high slippage, or a missing signer. You'll need to document the mitigations applied for each, provide a recorded run of your simulated human approval flow, and show the logs catching the validation failures, approvals, executions, and rollbacks. Honestly, there is no better feeling than watching your debug report cleanly catch a critical error. It's the ultimate proof that your toddler can safely navigate that candy store without buying out the entire stock. As we wrap up this explainer produced by Forge College, I highly encourage you to visit forge.college to learn more about Web3, AI, and keeping your autonomous agents safe out there. Building an AI agent that can make its own decisions on Solana is an incredible feat of engineering, but ensuring it does so with absolute safety and accountability, that is what makes it truly professional. The frontier of Web3 AI is incredibly exciting, but the developers who prioritize safety are the ones who will ultimately win. So, my final question to you is, based on the guardrails we covered today, would you trust your newly built autonomous agent with your real wallet right now? Think about it. Thanks for hanging out with us and happy building.